This is one large tube, and that's because, for the project we're working on today, needs a big piece of vinyl. I want to do something with the wood dash. The light brown doesn't seem to match anything else in the car. One option would be to include sanding and staining the thin wood veneer, but I didn't want to permanently change the dash. The most common method is using vinyl wrap, but most of what's out there is brushed metal or carbon fiber finishes. I wanted something different. I would love a darker wood color, and that's what I started looking into. VVIVID and 3M make competing high-quality wood vinyl. For some reason, the 3M version costs a lot, like around $150 for the amount I needed. I ended up with VVIVID since they had a reasonable price and a decent selection of colors. They make a line of architectural vinyl with wood patterns and a variety of colors and grains. Some people may think I'm crazy to cover real wood with vinyl. They may be right. But remember, this video is a good tutorial for installing any bulk vinyl on the Model 3 dash. The first part of this video involves removing the wood dash panel from the car. A hat tip goes to I1 Tesla on YouTube for showing that the dash panel can come out. Here's a closer look at the HVAC ducting behind the dash panel. This section of the ducting forces air upwards, which interacts with the other vent, which is pushing air towards the back of the car. The dash panel is now removed from the car and in my dining room for the next step. Tools needed include a trim removal tool, a sharp razor utility knife, felt tip squeegee, a heat gun or blow dryer, and nerves of steel to remove the big piece from your car's dash. One important thing to remember when ordering vinyl is that the grain goes along the length and not the width of the roll. Rolls are usually 48 or 68 inches in width, so if you order a 60-inch by 12-inch piece, the grain will go along the 12-inch side, and that's not useful for this dash project. I ended up ordering a 60-inch by 48-inch piece, so I can get the necessary 57 inches by 4 inches with the grain along the long side. Here I'm setting up for measuring and then cutting the vinyl. At its widest point, it's 54 3/4 inches across. I also added an inch to an inch and a half of extra to cover the sides. At the center, it measures 4 3/8 inches high. And on the ends, it's 2 3/4 inches high. So using the measurements that I gathered from the dash, I did the center point and end points, and then did kind of like a curve to connect those points. Then I used the utility knife and made my cuts along the vinyl for the entire length. I installed this pattern with the flat section towards the windshield. The wood dash seems more straight across the back than the front. See what works best for you. I removed the dash panel, but you can install it while in the car if you need to. Here's the vinyl up close to the original wood finish, so you can tell how much darker it is. You can also see some of the wood grain effect in the vinyl too. Start with one side and peel the backing paper off a few inches. You can see that the alignment of the vinyl covers the front and back of the dash evenly and stays level across the whole piece. By centering the vinyl, you should have roughly 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches extending over each end of the dash. You need this for finishing the edge. Please clean the dash area wood to remove any dirt or contaminants that could get under the vinyl. Use a plastic card like a credit card or gift card, or a flat squeegee to smooth out the vinyl along the dash area. If you get any bubbles, try to gently lift the vinyl back a little bit and then try again. For curved areas, use a heat gun or blow dryer to heat up the vinyl so it softens and molds to the shape of the surface. It will also adhere better too. This is also good for the 2 openings in the dash for the steering wheel and display. You can tuck the 1/4 inch or so of vinyl under this edge to make a nice curve. trim along the silver plastic that runs along the front of the dash. Carefully use a razor or trimming blade to go along this line for best results. Here's a test piece of vinyl that I used for the corner, just to get an idea of where I need to do some of the trimming. I did one cut in the front and one in the rear. Instead of cutting, I'm going to try to blend in the vinyl by heating it and doing some fine creases, so I don't need to have any cuts in the vinyl. For the rear, I will tuck it behind the plastic trim. I think this is more effective than cutting it, is heating it up and pushing it together. This wouldn't work on carbon fiber or anything with a artificial grid to it or grain. Since wood is natural, the waviness in it, I don't think really makes a difference. And I think it looks pretty decent. So all I have to do now is just trim the edge and I'm done on this side. Here is the finished dash panel with the darker vinyl covering the original light wood. If you see any bubbles or creases, try to use the squeegee along with the heat gun or blow dryer to get them out. Keep my fingers crossed that it goes back in. In bright sunlight, it does reflect a little bit, but it still is mostly a matte satin finish. Overall, I like the new look. It's darker, deeper color. It just seems to fit the car better than the light colored wood. Some other options would be the dark wood or mahogany, or you can go with the red gloss or any of the other colors. These photos illustrate the before and after. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.